Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm here with a little kind of, not really a tutorial, a craft with me type thing. I was going to do this segment on my autumn journal for making ephemera, and I kind of got carried away with making different kinds of leaves. And I thought, well, I'll just show you how to do that because, you know, there's all these different ways to make ephemera, and, you know, maybe I'm going to show you something a little different so you can add it to, you know, everything else that's out there. I may still do one like that. I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to finish up those, my autumn journal. Actually, I'm making two, you know, this week so I can start on my Halloween. So I don't know whether I'll be able to film a lot more of me doing it. We'll see what happens, okay? But let me show you what I was going to make, or I did make, and what we're going to make. I made 3 different types of leaves, and it's because I don't know, I wanted something a little different that wasn't like just a die cut or you know, or just a silk leaf. Let me show you these. These are, I don't know, these are kind of like, I guess, more of a modern or, you know, artistic rendering of leaves or something. And I don't know, I hope these are focusing. Let me look and see. I guess they're doing okay. These are just different, different leaves that I put. I'll put them down here. Maybe you can see them as I pick them up. But anyway, these were done with stamps. And I've done those. I'll put them down here. They're all similar. But these are just a little bit, I don't know, kind of a batik kind of look to them. And I think they're cool, but ugh, I just got these all mixed up. But anyway, you guys get the idea. So that's one kind. Let me put these off to the side, and we will do those. We will look at all of them. And I have gloves on because I did this the other day, and my hand stayed colors for like 5 days. So I did these, which are similar but not quite the same. And these were done with stamps also. But it's kind of a different technique, and then they end up looking a little different. So you might like those. Show you that. And then I did 4 different styles, so I just got very carried away making leaves. I don't know why. I was just trying to get just some different stuff out there. Move that out of the way. Move that out of the way. Put those right there. These are smaller. Now these were done with die cuts. Oh, and distress ink. So that's these. I'll just kind of show you what they look like. I think they turned out really cool. So that's another kind. Oops. Yuck. I can't get, they're all falling off of my hands here. I'll just put them right here. And then last I made these. Let's get them out. Now these blow everywhere, so if my air conditioner turns on, then we're in trouble. But these are just a little bit different. They're kind of see-through, and they turn. Oops! See it? They're flying everywhere. So these are cool, I think. And I could see using them all in different, you know, different things that you're making. But anyway, I'm going to show you all of these and how I made them. And I thought that you could probably incorporate them in some ephemera you're making. You may not want to do all of them. You may want to just do one of them, or maybe a couple, but that is what we're going to do. I definitely have to put these back in here because they really do. They're very lightweight. they're not as fragile as they look. In fact, you can really crumple them up and they don't do anything. So I already know what I'm going to do with that because of the fact that they're not delicate at all, but they look that way, don't they? So I am going to put these probably back in here just so they don't fly around. But I think they all have their pluses, that's for sure. I will put in my description box the main thing, you know, that I used. But, you know, you should use what you have on hand. You can adapt this. You don't have to use what I have. This is just what I had, so this is what I did. And I just basically used my fall colors, anything that looked kind of, you know, I didn't use them all at the same time. I made several different ones, and they all, you know, I tell you which ones I'm using, so I'll tell you as I'm using them. But just basically, I got out any that looked fall, and I had used stains and oxide spray. You can use your little squares. You just have to, you know, put some water in it and maybe dip them in. In order to make them look the way that I did, you need kind of a lot of concentrated color, and that's why the sprays worked really, really well for that, because the spray is, you know, it's very concentrated all in one area. It's not a light, you know, it's not like it's muted or anything. And if you want them, you know, that to look like I did, then you really have to have kind of a concentrated color. So you could probably do it with your distress pads, but I do think that it wouldn't be as bright, and that, you know, that might be okay. Anyway, let's see. So we're going to go ahead and start and get all of that done. So we will do, like I said, we'll do these first, and then we'll head on to the next part, okay? This is parchment paper, and that's what I used for that. I wanted them to be kind of bendy. I didn't want them to be stiff. If you want them to be, you know, stiffer, then you could use like a cardstock or something. But I wanted them to be flexible because of what I'm going to use them for, okay? But so what I did first, I'm going to get this out. I used clear transparent gesso. Open. Oh gosh, this always gets stuck. Okay, so I used just some clear gesso. Where did my other brush go? Here, I like this one. So I'm going to use just a big brush, and I want texture on this, so I'm putting it on kind of sloppy. Just kind of here. I'm going to do just a little bit more here. So I'm going to dry this real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now that it's dry, I am going to go ahead and go on to the next step, and that is just basically taking my distress sprays and just making kind of a multicolor little piece of paper that we're going to use to later stamp out or use our die cut to make our leaves. So I started with the lightest colors first, and I think that was, and I used distress oxide sprays first, and then I did the stains last. So I'm going to use, this is Wild Honey, and I just kind of sprayed it in different spots. I'm not really, I'm just trying to get like a base coat down. And where's these wipes? I'm trying to use these same wipes so that I can use them for something later. So they'll be in that same color family there. These are like ones that I used before, and I'm just adding more color to them. So see, let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go ahead and dry that. Dry each color as I put it on there. Okay, so after you've dried the yellow, then you want to start adding other colors. Let's see, I have several here that I used. Let's see, and these are the oxide sprays. And I think one of them was peel paint. shake them up. And I just randomly sprayed them. I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention. You know, I don't want to put too much because it'll just turn all. And then again, dry it again. Okay, so that's pretty dry. Then I'm going to use, I think, some of my orange colors. And I have Rusty Hinge. It's really kind of a peachy color. So it's not what I thought it was going to be at all. So anyway, I'm going to put that on. Put that on here. I don't want to put too much. A little in there. Okay. Let me wipe it up a little because I made a mess. Always making a mess with this stuff. And if you don't dry it between paint, it'll just wind up, you won't be able to see the distinctive colors, and it'll just kind of make a muddy color. So that's why you're drying it. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to dry that one. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to take, let's see, Festive Berries, and I'm actually going to do 2 this time, and Crackling Campfire. Crackling Campfire is more of a orange color, so I'm not going to put very much of that on, but it's kind of bright, and I just want to put a little bit on here and there, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of Festive Berries, because they're similar in color, and I don't want to put too much. This just has a little bit more pink color to it. Right there. I'm trying to do it in different spots so they don't, you know, mush together too much. Okay, so now I'm going to dry that. Now that I have kind of a base down, I'm going to add a little bit of my Distress Stain, which will make this react a little differently. I'm going to probably use Mustard Seed and Shabby Shutters. And I don't know if I'm going to use, did I use Wild Honey before? I did. I already have, I won't use that. Okay, let me go ahead and try that. This is a green color, and what's going to happen is it's going to make this react a little bit. And it's going to kind of give it a darker tinge to it. And you can dip this and do the same thing if you don't want to just spray it, but I found that this worked just fine. And I'm just picking up a little extra that I got on there. So move it around and let it do its thing a little bit. The way I did it is I let each color dry. I was doing some other things. I actually think they always turn out better if you just kind of let it dry naturally. So, but you know, we don't have that time. So I'm going to go ahead and dry that. Okay, it's not completely dry, but I'm going to get our other stuff ready to do. And I know that right now this just looks like a big hot mess, but it will turn into some really nice looking little leaves. Okay, everybody, so once you have come up with your sheet, and you're going to have all these bright colors, get your die cut machine out, whatever it is. You don't have to have a big one. In fact, I have this little We Are Memory Keepers one, and I think I paid, it was less than $25 at Tuesday Morning, but there's all different brands out there that you can buy these little ones. And honestly, most of the stuff I do, I could use this one. I mean, I have a big Empress and another one, and but I use this a lot just because most of the time I only need a few things, and it's easy, it's handy, it's not hard. So anyway, I'm going to do this. I cut out a piece of our paper, and I know it seems bright, but it will work out. And this thing, let's see, I got to remember how it works. Okay. And I'm just going to do a few of them. I'm not going to cut them all out because you guys probably already know how to do this, but for the people who don't, I will do a couple like that. And I'm going to just run it through, and this thing has to lock. It didn't lock. And it's not hard. Well, it didn't lock still. Oh well. And I run it through a couple times just to make sure that it's cut out, but this stuff shouldn't be that hard to cut out. The thicker your paper, the harder it's going to be, but okay, so I've got that through a couple times. It should be enough. All right, let's see here. Let's see what we have. Yeah, I cut them out just fine. All right, so anyway, you put that aside so it's not in our way. So you're just going to pop those out, and I save these because you may have, like I have a little leaf punch. I have, you could, I mean, I don't know. It just, you can use just these scraps for just little punches if you have them, and they'll, you know, put them places. But anyway, that is really all there is to it, to these. Now, I did put a sealer on some of them, a dark sealer, patty pockets, and honestly, I kind of like these without it because it has kind of a suede look to it because you've used the distressed ink. I don't know. I think they looked kind of more real without the sealer, but I put the sealer on one batch, and it makes them a little bit more antique-y and cool too. So there's pluses and minuses. Well, this is gonna, looks like it's going to be hard to get out. I'll just see if I can get at least one out to show you. This one should be easy because it's got a lot of holes in it. But anyway, it's up to you how you want to do it. But I personally, I think I ended up liking it. See, doesn't it look good? Really looks good. And that was from that bright piece of paper. But it's all the variation and everything in there is what makes it look so real. So anyway, so if you don't, you know, if you don't make it that bright, it just, I don't know. And even when like this one doesn't have a lot of color on it, but it has enough variation in there that to me it just looks kind of cool. Looks kind of real, really. Okay, so anyway, it came out. There we go. So that is our leaves that we made, okay? So that is that leaf, and then let's move on to the stamping one. Okay, so the next one I did, I used my my stamping platform. If you have one, great. If you don't, you can just stamp directly on them. And this is where I just used just some random, you know, random whatever. Oh, there's my thing. There it is. Okay. Random inks that I had. I didn't really pay attention to even what kind they were. I just wanted certain colors. So, and then what I did is I used just my mixed media paper. I just think it's not super thick, but I just think the color turns out better on this and on watercolor paper sometimes. So I think I used that. So what I did is pretty much, I just did layers of ink. And I started out, I think, with, again, my lighter colors. And you can see I have all different kinds of inks here. I just went through my ink and just thought, what my permanent ink? And you could probably do this with distress ink too. But that kind of bleeds together, and that's kind of not the look I was looking for. So anyway, so you could put washi on here if you want to. I think I did. I don't remember. I do have magnets I was going to use, but I forgot to bring them up here, so I won't use them. Okay, I'm going to use, this is Color Box, and it's dye ink, and it's really kind of, it doesn't really say the color. Yeah, it's just a, it's just kind of a yellow, kind of a bright yellow too. But I like to use my light colors first, and I'm just going over all of it. You know, this is a very juicy one too, so anyway, do that, and I'm going to just stamp it. And where's my little thing? This is a little thing I made. It just has a little felt thing, you know, things you do for furniture on a spool, and that just helps. They make tools for this, but this works pretty good. And I don't care if it's perfect, honestly, guys, because we're going to be putting lots of layers on there, so it doesn't really matter. But I just want to have even pressure on there would be good. Okay, and then let's see. Oh, okay. See, like that one didn't do good, but that's okay. Actually, a couple of them didn't. I don't know what the deal is. I might not have put ink on there well either, so it's just kind of could be me. And I may not have left it down long enough too. That's what's great about these little things, because see, you can go back and read it. Didn't do that one good. I think I didn't put enough ink over there is what I did on that one. Okay, let's see. That turned out a little better. Okay, so that is my first stamp that I did. Now I'm going to just take my wipe and just take a wipe, and I'm going to wipe off my stamps so I can get that color off of it. You don't want to contaminate your, you know, your ink pads. If I just put another color on top, then it would do that. Not the end of the world if you do. You can just clean them off with the wipe usually, and they usually are okay. But this way, we get the ink off of there. Okay, so now we've got that ink off of our stamp pad, our stamps, pretty much. I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna try a green. Okay, so I'm gonna put the green on. And these are just pretty juicy stamp pads, or stamps. So, all right. So now I'm going to do that and go down again. Looks like my washi tape's in a little tiny corner of one of those. I'm going to have to move it. Anyway, so then I just kind of do it again. Kind of smush it around. And I don't care if it's perfect. I really don't. Alright. That worked pretty good. So it kind of blended those two colors together a little bit. And that's cool. That's kind of what we want to happen. I do need to move that up a tiny bit. Let me move that. I think I am going to start with my other colors. And I don't even really wait for these colors to dry. I just kind of blend them all. You know, you can wait. If you don't want them to mix that much, but I'm just layering them on top of each other. And now what I'm going to do though is I'm not going to, let's see which color. I think I used this one next last time. I don't remember. This is kind of, well no, actually I think I used the other one. This is kind of a orangey red. And where do my little ones go? I have these Archival Inks too. These are good to use. I don't know which one I want to use. I think maybe I'll use my Archival Ink. What this does, if you don't want, like if you just want, I'll show you just little parts of this to get these colors. The good thing about the little ink pads, you don't have to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do sections of it, okay? So this way, it doesn't get ink everywhere. I mean, you know, and actually, I can do more than one color on there at a time, but I'm going to do just that. Do a little bit there, maybe a little here. Okay, tiny bit there, maybe. Okay. Anyway, so that's what's cool about these. You can do it with the other ones too, but it's a little harder to do that. But anyway, you can take like where did I have my sponges? If you don't have little inks like that, what I did before, just take a little like little sponge applicator and put it on. See what I did on this red is I did not put it all over the stamp because I only want portions of it to get that color. My lighter colors, is kind of how I defined the actual, you know, leaf, and then I add some of the brighter colors later, and I don't do it all over. That was kind of the thing. And that's what I do with that, okay? That's why if it's not perfect when it goes down, it's no big deal, okay? Because you're not really trying to do that. So anyway, now I'm going to pull up. So you see how it didn't go all over the leaf there. So it's a more random type thing. So we'll wipe all that off. Okay, and I'll probably just add one more color maybe. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the fossilized amber. Oh, and that was barn door. Okay, and this one is spiced marmalade. It's kind of an orangey one. And I'm going to do that a little bit more, maybe over here, a little in the middle. Let's see, maybe down here a little bit. And let's see, down here a little bit maybe. You know, you just kind of have to, I don't know, just play with it a little and see. Some of mine may not even do anything to, so right now I'm going to try the orange and then see how that goes. All right, yep, see that just gave it a little bit more color. I think that one could definitely use some ink right there. So let me see what I'm going to do with that. All right, make sure they sit there long enough. All right, yeah, that turned out a little better. I don't know why that one doesn't want to work, but I'll fix that later. So that is how I did those other ones. I just kind of layered the colors on there so that they wouldn't just be all one color, okay? And then what I did, okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to take all of these and I am going to basically fussy cut these out. And I know it sounds like a lot, but it really did not take long at all to do that. I will do these and then I will be back to show you. All right, so I did all those and now I'm going to get to the next part. We're going to just kind of lay them out. Oh, I don't want to do it on that side. Let me do it on the other side. I'll do it on the other side, or maybe a different piece of paper. I think I'll just use this little board. That'll work. I'm going to put these all on here because we are going to now... Oh, I didn't put my dauber upside down. Should have done that. Okay. I am going to use my Distress embossing dauber. You can use your Versamark, do whatever you want to do. And I'm just going to put Versamark all, basically that's what it is. It's actually, this is Distress, but you can use Versamark or whatever. Anything that's going to make your embossing powder stick. All right, so I did all those and now I'm going to get to the next part. We're going to just kind of lay them out. Oh, I don't want to do it on that side. Let me do it on the other side. I'll do it on the other side, or maybe a different piece of paper. I think I'll just use this little board. That'll work. I'm going to put these all on here because we are going to now... Oh, I didn't put my dauber upside down. Should have done that. Okay. I am going to use my Distress embossing dauber. You can use your Versamark, do whatever you want to do. And I'm just going to put Versamark all, basically that's what it is. It's actually, this is Distress, but you can use Versamark or whatever. Anything that's going to make your embossing powder stick. Okay, so here is my thick embossing. I have so much stuff on my desk trying to do all these products at one time, or things at one time. So I'm just going to do that. Okay. And cover them all up. be generous because you're just going to pour it back in the bottle. Kind of go like that a little bit. And now I'm just going to kind of, I just pull them out. I'll set those aside. Matter of fact, this is what I used. I transferred them onto my other little board. Get those. Alright, so now we're just going to take these, and I do them one at a time because they'll blow everywhere if you don't. Holding them with my tweezers. And let me get my embossing. So I'm just going to do that to all of them. I only did it one time, so I didn't care if there were spots missing and blotchy because that was kind of part of the look. So I'm going to go ahead and emboss all of these. Just do the same thing basically. Okay, so now that we've done that, we have our little leaves and they look pretty cool the way they are. The only thing I wanted to do is I wanted to add a little darker color to that. So I used my distress ink and I used old paper and vintage photo. And what I did is I did old paper. I just went right over it, and it's only going to stick to like the white parts or the parts that you haven't maybe gotten real good. So let's just put that in there, and that kind of will, you know, it'll make it just a little bit. Oh, it didn't work. Did not work at all, huh? Okay, so when you're all done, you're going to end up with your little pieces like that. And all I did is I took either distressed old paper or vintage photo, either one. Old paper is kind of a greenish brown. This is more of a dark brown. Depends on what you're doing. And if you have any spots that you didn't emboss well, it'll show up on there. But the big thing I did is I went all the way around the edges, which I'm probably not doing real good right now, but that's what I did. And it gave it kind of a, you know, and I kind of stomped down on any of the places that I might have missed. And the little bits of brown in there kind of gave it a, you know, a little bit of a realistic leaf look. I think this has a big blotch right there, but that's okay. Anyway, that's kind of what you end up with, something like that. You know, it has a tiny bit of brown in it here and there, and that's it. That's how it looks. So that's pretty much that one, okay? So now let's move on to the next one that I do with these stamps. And it's just a little different. You might like it better because I think it maybe looks a little more real. Okay, so the next ones we're going to do are going to take my mixed media, or I guess I could use my, this time I'm going to try and use my watercolor paper. It's a little bit thicker, and I need these a little bit thicker for what I'm going to do with them. So I'm just going to do it with this. And let's see, I just have a few stamps here. I'm not going to do a lot of these. I'm just going to do a few just to kind of show you guys what I'm going to do. And here I'm using my distressed ink pads. This is fossilized amber, spiced marmalade. And you don't have to have the exact colors. This is what I had. Fired brick. Let's see, shabby shutters. Let's see, scattered straw. And cracked pistachio. And I use some distress vintage photo. Okay, so all I'm going to do with these is I am going to take where did it go? Oh, here's my mister, and I'm going to lightly mist, and I mean lightly mist my paper. I'm going to start out with some misted paper, okay, not wet, misted, okay, I don't want it wet. And then I'm going to take whatever stamps I want to use, And again, I'm going to start with my lightest color, and that is Scattered Straw. And I'm going to get it nice and inky, right? And I'm just going to stamp wherever I'm going to stamp, okay? And if I want to do multiples, this is the time to do it. You would just do a bunch all, you know. Let's see, I like this leaf, so maybe I do a few of those. Might do a few. And they don't have to be perfect. Okay. Alright, so that's that. And I'm going to wipe it off because we're going to do another color. I'm going to do more stamps with the same color. And you don't have to do it this way. You can do them all different. This is how I did it. I just kind of did an assembly line. And again, I don't care if they're perfect because it doesn't really matter. That's not what we're going for here. I'll just do 3 of those. Okay, so then after you do that, you wipe off all your stamps and get that first color off. All right. Now you want to go ahead and dry this. Okay, so I'm going to dry it and then I'll be right back. All right, now that that's dry, you guessed it, we're going to put another color on there. And I think this time I might just go straight to the Spiced Marmalade. It is an orangey color. Okay, and I'm going to put that on. And I'm going to try and line it up, but it doesn't matter if it's perfect. In fact, if it isn't, that's better because it's going to work in our favor. And I go across. See how that's not perfect? That's actually a good thing. I'll move this closer to me because I'm having to reach for it. And do that over here. And line that one up. And this goes fairly quickly because you're just, you know, you're just stamping them. And you don't have to do a whole sheet like this. I just figured, hey, you know, you might as well if you're doing it. Right? Okay, so that's those. Okay, and then that one. All right, so now you guessed it. We're going to dry this color, and then we're going to add another color. All right, on this one, I am not going to add color all over my leaf. I'm just going to do it a little bit here and there, just because I don't want it perfectly on there. Okay. So I just added some just kind of to the ends. And I'm going to do that on this one. And obviously they're all not going to be the same because you're not going to make them the same. But, you know, that's how I'm doing it. Okay. As well. Alright, so that's kind of how I did it. I did the whole sheet. I didn't just... Now the last color that I'm going to add on there... Well, actually, it's not the last. We're going to do one more after that, but... Alright, where did it go? I am not going to dry this. I'm going to take a little tiny bit, and I'm going to use it sparingly. And this is my fired brick. I'm just going to use a little bit here and there because it just shows up a lot. And you don't, oop, I got a bunch in the front of this. Here it happened. So all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to put a tiny bit in certain spots on my stamp. And then do it like that, because I don't want a ton. Put it on there. See, I only put a little bit on there, and that's how strong it shows up. So you don't want to put too much of the red. Okay, so now that we've done all that, we're going to dry this time, and then we're going to do one more thing. Okay, now that we've put all of our colors on and we've dried it a little bit, we're going to actually mist it. And you don't want to spray it, you want to mist it because we're trying to get these colors to blend together now, okay? And we're going to go lightly mist it, and less is more. Just do some, and if you don't like how it blends, and you can add, this is dripping right now, it shouldn't be. There we go. I want it to mist, not drip. It's okay if it does, but, you know. And just let it sit for a minute. Don't assume that it's not doing anything. And now these colors are going to kind of blend together a little bit, okay? I can see I missed that one, it looks like, so I'll do that again. And just let it kind of do its thing. You're just not wanting to do anything, are you? And it'll just blend all these colors together. And I know it looks like a hot mess right now, but it will look good eventually. So I think that one needs a little bit more water. There we go. And how about, did that one start blending up there? A little better. Here we go. And you know, it will look good when it's done, I promise. Okay, even the ones that look like they're not, you know, doing much, they will eventually look good. Okay, so that's kind of how you want it to look right there. So now we're going to dry this. Okay, so now that you have dried all these and it looks like a big hot mess, okay, and we're going to do one more thing. We're going to take Vintage Photo or a brown and go over, and I'm going to do the same thing kind of like I did with the red, but I want the whole, I'm going to go very lightly because I don't want a ton of ink on there. I just want enough to kind of get the impression in there good. And it's hard to line it up once it's a blob, but you just usually just get to the stem and the other side and you'll be okay. And that's what it's going to do, okay? And that outlines your stamp. Just a little bit. You don't need a ton. You don't want it. You don't want a lot on there is what I'm saying. Because, all right, there we go. Let's try that. And there we go. And what the brown does is it defines your leaf again, and then the other colors are all kind of smushed together, and it just looks like how a leaf would look. Okay, after you stamped them, make sure you heat set it with your heat gun, and the next thing we're going to do is we are going to fussy cut all these out. So I'm just going to do the one, and what you're gonna, I'm just gonna show you that even though you don't have that perfectly defined leaf, you just use basically wherever, you know, basically the shape of where you put your distressed Vintage Photo, because that actually makes your leaf. And that's, well, believe it or not, when you get all done with this, that big blob will look like a leaf. Okay, so like, see that? There you go. So anyway, I'm going to fussy cut all these out, and then I will be back. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is, and I already did it, but I want to show you, just go around the leaf with your distress, and that's because you want a little bit more of the brown defined in these, so that's what I did. All right. Then you're going to go and you're going to just basically do the same thing we did before and put your, use your whatever your Versamark or whatever you're using. I have this other embossing here too. Just however you want to do it. I mean, you could smush it in there if you want, but I don't know if this brown's going to get in there or not. No, not really, it's not. So you could just go like that and do that. Get them all nice and juicy on there. All right, so now that we've done that, we are going to do, this time we're using Distress Embossing Glaze Antique Linen. And that, to me, is a really fun kind of way. It's very see-through, but it gives it a very, I don't know, golden brown kind of look to it. Now I have brown, and I have some others, and I have a green, but I don't know. I liked how this looked the best. I mean, you could try different ones out, but I think this one to me worked the best. So, all right, I'm gonna just go ahead and emboss a couple of these. I'll just do this big one. Maybe I'm not gonna do it on there because there's already some stuff. I'll turn it over. Maybe just do it. I have another board over here. I'll just do it on here and hold it down. So I'll just do one right here. All right, so you will see it turns out really, really good. I know it looked like a big blob, you know, but that's kind of how they turn out. And I think I love it. The little brown around the edges, you know, looks good. And then you don't want to put too much brown when you're stamping it that last time, but you do want some. And I think it's just a completely different look. Anyway, I'm going to do the others, and then we'll get on to the very last leaf, and hopefully I can get these all in one video. I'm probably going to do a lot of, you know, just speeding up and maybe just, you know, skipping to the end and stuff like that, because, you know, it's just a lot to cover in one video. So I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So I saved the easiest for last, and it's the quickest. I am going to do, I use my gel plate. You can just use a piece of acetate, whatever you want to use. Up to you. And this isn't super clean, but it'll work. And all I'm going to do, these are just these, I don't remember what they're called. Skeleton leaves, I believe. And all I'm going to do is, here, let me put that down there. I have these little trays that I got from the dollar store. You could just use a piece of acetate, whatever you want to do, just to put different colors down. And I kind of just put a few drops, and I need alcohol too. Let me get my alcohol out. I have it in a spray bottle, and I'm just going to put the lightest color. These are just different alcohol inks that I have, different brands. It doesn't really matter. Let's see, I don't think I had a lighter yellow in there. I like to use my yellow first or my green, just because, I don't know. Let's see, I have a very, very light green that I use too that works. But I think this time I'm going to use the yellow. And I'm just going to take a few drops of yellow, and I have these little brushy things. They're little dropper things that are very precise, and I also have a paintbrush, and for the yellow I'm going to use a paintbrush. I'm going to put a little bit of alcohol in there, and on these I just kind of dipped them in because I wanted the whole thing saturated and smushed down with my paintbrush. Okay, and that's how they look. And you kind of just dip them all in, and because I want this, you know, the yellow to be all over it. So not so much with the other colors. It's kind of my base color. I go like that, and I'm just using the paintbrush to hit any spots that don't get in there. And I don't know how many I'm going to do. I'll just do the ones that are sitting right here. Not going to do a bunch. But anyway, these things, as fragile as they look, they're not at all. They're kind of almost like a rubbery type, you know, feel to them. They're very durable, but they look very delicate. So I think these would be cool to, you know, like maybe put on a border or something like that, because I think you could sew through these really easily. All right, so I'll do this one more because I have probably just enough ink, and alcohol ink dries really fast, so you got to work fairly fast. I mean, you have a little time, what, you know. Okay, there we go. So that is what I did there, all right? So I'm going to put that aside. It'll dry in a second anyway. All right, so now that I've done that, I put this on my gel plate because Now the next step is I'm not going to be dipping it. I'm just going to take another color, and I think this time I will use, I have Sunset and Terracotta. I don't remember which one is darker. I think the Terracotta was a little bit darker. So I might try Sunset. And I have Honeycomb. And I maybe put a tiny bit of, well, I might try this, what is it? Botanical Green too. And I'm only going to do one color at a time because, yeah, let me try, I think I'm going to try the Honeycomb first. It's kind of a brownish, reddish color, so I will try that. I'm only going to put a couple drops in there because I'm not going to use very much. Tiny bit. On this one, it's not as diluted because I want the concentrated color. And I can take one of these little dauber things, or you can use a paintbrush, and you're just putting color in little spots of it all over. And this is just going to change the color of the leaf a little bit. I think I want more than that. I'll take my paintbrush and do it. It'll be faster. And just kind of do that in spots. It doesn't look like much now, but when it's done, you'll be able to see. It's subtle, but it's not, you know, not noticeable. So, again, it's alcohol ink, so you got to work pretty fast. And just put it where you want it. And this is kind of a light golden color. So this will add more color to it. And I'm not doing anything in particular. I'm not coating the whole thing. I'm just kind of put it in different spots. Okay, so now that I've done that, I think I'm going to try the, let's see, I think I'll try the Sunset. I'm trying to remember what that color was like, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, it's more of an orange. Okay, there we go. Some of it's splattered on there, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to put a tiny bit of alcohol in there and mix it up. Okay. And I think I'll use my paintbrush again because those things take forever. And we don't have that kind of time. And I'm just putting a little bit of color here and there. Don't coat the whole thing because you want the contrast. That's kind of the point in using different colors. If you coat the whole thing, you're just going to have one color. You know, you're just going to have it, you know, just kind of put it in little spots here and there. You can wait for it to dry in between. I kind of like it better if it doesn't because I want it to bleed together a bit, you know, so it kind of blends. All right, I think that's enough. I don't want to put too much of that. All right, so that was that. I think I am going to put a tiny bit of green in there. Maybe try that. Not too much, you know, just a little. Just a tiny bit of alcohol in there. And on this, I might use these just so I can kind of concentrate a little more. I don't want too much on there. I want a tiny, tiny bit because it will, the darker the color, those will really show through super quick. So I don't want too much of that. Just a tiny bit here and there. Just a tiny bit. Kind of go all over, you know, and you don't have to even add this many colors. You can just do a few. I just like the contrast. Put a little right there, maybe right here. Okay, so that's it on there. I don't know. I think what I'm going to do now is, this is Marigold, and it's kind of a little bit darker yellow. I think I'm going to add some of that in there just to kind of blend it a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit on here, maybe over the green, because I want it to be a little bit more subtle. I don't want it to look like stripes on there. So it'll blend it in a little bit better. And I'm gonna do that all over. Yeah, that's helping a little bit. Now see, I didn't put the alcohol in there. It's drying really, really, really fast, so I gotta hurry. All right, I think that's good. All right, now I'm gonna do is I'm just going to pull these off. All right, I'm just gonna let them dry. They don't take long to dry at all because honestly, guys, they, you know, it's alcohol ink, so I'm just gonna pull them off of here so it's not wet. And I'll wipe that off and I'll dry them real quick with my heat gun, but you really don't have to. They dry so fast, super, super fast. Okay, so that is the last ones we did, and they are kind of cool. I think they're just a different, you know, style. They're going to blow everywhere, but these are really neat. So that is the last leaf that I did. So that's all of them, guys. And hopefully I can get this all in one video. Like I said, I'll do a lot of condensing and things. And probably, I don't know what we're going to do next on our journal. I'm probably going to have to add at least one more to the series. I'm not doing everything start to finish, but I did want to include you guys a little bit on it. I don't know if I'm going to do making ephemera or not. I don't know if I'm going to have time, but I will be done with it this week so that I can move on to my Halloween journals to get those done in the next couple weeks, okay? All right, well, we'll see you next time.